Hey Dad, what are you doing?
Just seeing how many of my students did not log on to Admentum today. These students need something. They need motivation. I know what they need. This is what I'm talking about! Get outside! Take a lap! Hustle, 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 through the line, through the line, through the line. High fives, high fives, high fives. All right, all right, all right. First of all, I'd like to thank my daughters for helping me make that video, and my son, the cameraman. We had a good time doing it. Nobody got hurt in the process, I promise. Mrs. Burt contacted me the other day. Wanted to know if I can help her out with her YouTube channel, put together a little bit of a short tutorial on what you can do when you're quarantined at home and you don't have access to that weight room. So this is just a real quick introduction. When athletes come into me, there's a whole protocol that we traditionally go through. I try to introduce them to responsible weight training when they come in. First of all, the first thing that we do is I get a lot of questions sometimes about the difference between dynamic stretch and static stretch. Traditionally speaking, dynamic stretch is stretching through motion, and it's done in the beginning of a workout. And static stretch is like an isometric hold, which is done at the conclusion of a workout. You can get into the whole technicalities as to why and the scientific data and support behind it. Very simply, stretching through motion helps prepare you a little bit more on what you're going to do in the weight room and what you're going to do on the field, where static stretch is a little bit more of a post recovery type of movement. Okay, so my workouts when athletes come in are all based off functional movements. Okay, we do upper body pushes, we do upper body pulls, we do lower body pushes, we do lower body pulls, and we do explosive movements. So very simply, whether they're vertical, whether they're horizontal, it's squats, it's presses, it's deadlifts, it's some sort of triple extension movement, there's core activation, there's mobility, there's flexibility. We run the whole gamut. Well, if we're in the weight room, we have access to all that stuff. Okay, if we're not in the weight room, now we need to improvise. Okay, so I still like to do that protocol, the lower body, the upper body, the push, the pull, the explosive movement, but now we have to use what we have at our disposal. Okay, so if you're like me, you've been spending a little bit more time in the pantry than usual. So what I do is I went through the pantry, did a little bit of research online, I kind of reflected upon some of my own knowledge and things and experience that I've gained over the last several years, and we did some, junkyard, schoolyard type of workouts. So as we come over here, as I said, using and being able to manipulate your own body weight is important. So I always start off with athletes saying, you know what, a lower body push could be something as simple as an air squat. An upper body push could be something as simple as a push-up. A lower body pull is what we refer to as a hip hinge movement. I teach athletes body weight wall taps. Okay, and an upper body pull would be a pull-up. So my first piece of advice is to try to manipulate in some capacity those movements, all right? So when we're looking at what movements can we do at home, well, you can do your pushes, your presses, you can do your squats, your lunges, you can do your step-ups. Obviously walking and physical mobility is very important. But what we did is we tried to manipulate what we had in the pantry with what we can use. So as I said, anything that you have in the pantry or in the garage or in the basement, you can kind of turn into a piece of workout equipment. So the first thing that we have in line over here, very simply, some cans. These cans weigh probably about 1 or 2 pounds a piece. So all those movements that I just rattled off, whether it's squats, whether it's presses, whether it's curls, whether it's kickbacks, whether it's walking lunges or step-ups, all you're doing is holding on to this, add a little bit of weight, a little bit of resistance, what we call load in the weight training field, and then we're going to work our way down the line. We have apples or bags of potatoes. Now, same movements, we're just adding a little bit more weight. These usually weigh somewhere between 3 to 5 pounds. We take a look at laundry detergent bottles, milk jugs, okay, antifreeze bottles. You take a look at probably about 8.5 to 9 pounds. Okay, here we have a clothes basket. You know, the clothes basket is something that I'm sure you guys have been using quite a bit over the last couple weeks. Fill it up with you know, books, fill it up with rocks, fill it up with clothes, help mom out, help dad out, and just using proper technique. You know, we're using it to kind of simulate like a front-loaded deadlift. Okay, here we have a backpack. You know, take those books, throw them into the backpack. Anything that we can do in reference to walks, what we refer to as loaded carries, okay? Take the books, put them in the backpack. Same thing, a lot of those same movements. I put the backpack on, I can go for a nice walk. I can do curls, I can do raises, I can do lunges, anything with the backpack. If you have a broomstick, slide it through, okay? Now all of a sudden we can do some sort of a barbell movement. Loaded carries are very good for core stability, core development. Throw some rocks into 5-gallon buckets. Make sure, once again, using good form, chest out, shoulder blades back, keep the buckets away from the body. Okay, we're gonna walk with good posture. Chairs are excellent, especially for people that have, you know, some sort of pre-existing injury. You know, you can use the chair. If you're doing squats and it hurts the knees, okay, squat down onto the chair, stay stiff, stay upright, come up, fire those glutes as we've talked about in the past. And as you work your way down the line, you know, sometimes the stuff gets a little bit more advanced, a little bit more technical. You know, here I have a tire, I have a sledgehammer. You're exerting energy and force from that tire or on that sledgehammer into the tire. And then we have some weighted carries, whether it be with the sandbag, whether it be with the log. You know, here's a tractor tire that I threw some sand in, taped it up, and we have homemade apparatuses. You know, I have battling ropes and things made out of fire hose. There's just sky is the limit. Use your imagination, use that creativity. Once again, I wanted to thank Mrs. Burt for allowing me to participate in her YouTube videos. You know, the common theme seems to be stay home, stay clean, stay safe. Be good, Tunkhannock. Hope to see you real soon.